Welcome back to AMBC. We're about to talk tech with Tristan Jutras, but it's an interesting topic, and I think it's going to be equal sort of moral values and technology, because they're intertwined in this case, are they not?
Indeed. It's interesting how the internet and a lot of any technologies sort of bring out the best in people
and the worst in people.
And sometimes salacious topics or industries have really pushed technology forward. And people talk about the adoption of VHS over beta because there was a lot more pornography available on VHS.
Oh, was that what it was?
That was one of the factors.
Are you serious?
Because, yeah.
Okay, so beta, for people at home who aren't into the history or don't know the technology, beta was the type of tape that television stations were using. It was the standard, high standard that we used as broadcast quality. VHS wasn't the better quality product. So a lot of people were amazed that VHS was the one that went mainstream. And beta never took off.
And I know a few people that had Betamax decks and they loved them.
Yeah,
there was the consumer version, but they were more expensive. They were higher quality, more expensive, and certain types of material weren't as readily available on them. Whereas VHS kind of became the Microsoft versus to Beta's Apple.
Right.
And that's a comparison that's
I
been
had
used
no
a lot.
idea it had something to do with pornography, although, you know, it always boils down to pornography or money.
And then internet is one of the things that's been pushing internet streaming technologies is pornography. It was one of the most highly consumed types of media online until just recently when social media has actually taken
eclipsed
over.
it.
Exactly.
Well, hallelujah for that.
And now the two have come together.
Yes, they have. So the whole Weinergate thing is very, as you said, salacious. Salacious is the perfect word for this, because this is a politician in the United States who got caught sending pictures of his genitals to women, and the jokes, of course, because he had an online name of Carlos Danger.
Exactly, and you can get T-shirts as well. Carlos Danger T-shirts.
Now, you know, now everybody's mocking him. They're stunned too, because his wife, there she is on his left, our right, stood up for him, and, you know, we're still together and I'm still staying married to this guy. And then he resigned, and then he said, but it's not over yet, people, I want to let you know. And it's now been revealed that even though he was forced to resign and he was embarrassed, more stuff has come out. He's running for mayor of New York City.
Exactly. So it was Weinergate Part 2, and now just in the last day, like Part 3. And his name is almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. I'm not sure if he's...
I know. Isn't that awful?
So, I mean, he's got a very patient wife, obviously, but what...
Well, yeah.
Now, what would happen...
Other people might not suggest it's patience, but we'll see.
And some people say he's out of the race, but, you know, look at Rob Ford. In Toronto, he's more popular than ever. And
Is he?
Yes.
Seriously?
Yes.
How did I miss that poll?
Well, so there's smoking crack and there's taking pictures of your junk.
Yeah. But taking pictures of your junk, as it turns out, is a really common thing, I can't believe I'm saying this out loud, for men to do.
And I don't
I'm not saying you. I'm not saying Andrew in studio here or Aiden in the control room.
What's the deal?
You tell me.
Well, maybe that's what you can't. You're not allowed to post it on plentyoffish.com. I know that.
Right.
But it's a way for people to brag. I think. Actually, there was a poll. There's been a couple polls done in the United States. There's not a lot of hard data, but in the couple polls surveys they have done, they found between 29 to 33% of teens and young adults have sent nude photos of themselves.
Yeah, this is all part of sexting.
Yeah. And you think with Weinergate, what would happen if that technology was not available to him? How would he be exposing himself that way? So, but now, because, you know, there was text. The original sexting was just typing dirty messages to each other. But now with MMS, multimedia messaging, now you can send all sorts of...
Instagram, Snapchat, all that kind of stuff.
Exactly. So now, and 25% of teens and young adults have admitted to forwarding similar pictures of other people to others. So say someone was to send you, you know, this kind of photos, a quarter of people have admitted to sharing those with other people as well. So it's not, what you think is private isn't necessarily private.
Oh, dear God, no. Yeah. But what we're now doing is kind of going, oh my gosh, can you believe this? Not so much of, hey, have a look at this. Revenge porn.
So this is what happens. This is the natural outgrowth of when people decide to share intimate photos of themselves with each other, and that relationship goes bad. And then some people have blackmail material on you.
Yeah, and this has been around for a really long time. I have never, ever done this. I've been in television for too long to go to, you know, nude beaches and do this kind of thing in relationships, because you just never know where it's going to show up. But so many people want to videotape themselves or take pictures of themselves.
But it's one thing to have some dirty Polaroids, or, you know, make a home movie. And 20 years ago, it was hard to distribute. If maybe it would end up, because a lot of mainstream media is not going to share that stuff. But once it goes online, it was in the last 20, 25 years of the web, it's available for everyone to see, including potential employers, family, friends, and others. And that's not a good situation, especially for young people who aren't necessarily thinking through the consequences and they're just trying to impress someone. I mean, the Amanda Todd case was all about that. Her flashing someone, they used that as blackmail material until she did more of that for him, and then she ended up committing suicide.
I know, it's horrible. So there is a petition now to end revenge porn, but I mean, this is a moral issue. It's not going to be stopped with a petition.
Exactly.
Or is it?
No, I don't think it's ever going to stop. In England, they've got legislation. They're trying to block porn altogether. And this, I mean, revenge porn isn't porn per se, but it's a question: can you legislate this sort of behavior? I mean, there's certain technical things that you can do, but there's always ways to get around the technical things.
Right,
so,
but look at the case of the Pitt Meadows rape, at the rave, that was an alleged rape. And actually no one was ever charged with a sexual assault there because there's some question about that. But the young man who took pictures of that sexual act and distributed it was, convicted. And I mean, this now is distributing child pornography.
Exactly.
So there are some ways to punish people who are doing this.
And a lot of it is just, I think, awareness and education. There's a lot of great online resources for parents, and I think it's important for them to walk through some of those resources with the young people in their lives. There's cybertip.ca is sort of the general clearinghouse website for information regarding sexual exploitation of children, and they have links to a lot of other great resources
so this
as
is
well.
An information
Exactly.
website.
So it's about, they have information on child sexual abuse, and there's quite a lot on internet safety, and for children 12 years and younger and 13 years out, because there's different conversations you want to have with different ages of children.
For sure. I noticed up at the top left there, it says click here to report. So where does that information go? Do you know?
There's like a clearinghouse for of authorities that, across the country, police enforcement authorities that would deal with that, because they take these sorts of issues very seriously.
Yeah, and you know what? That's a great way to do it, because we need to stop being bystanders. We need to start reporting these kinds of things so that they can be
So
stopped.
there's related sites with additional information. Media Smarts is another one where parents can go and find information for their children. And then there's another one called The Door That's Not Locked. So all of these sites will give you good practical advice for how to speak to your children about these things, and also things that you should and shouldn't do in the household. And one thing, especially with young children, is like not have a computer in their room with internet access.
Okay. I don't want to tackle you on this one, but I want to tackle this topic because this came up with our parenting expert Kathy Lynn earlier in the week. Same thing. Do not have a computer in their room. So I think that message has been told and heard over and over and over. Exactly. The reality is, sure, we can now all have our laptops or our desktops in the kitchen, in the family room, in very public areas. Every single teen I know has a mobile device.
Yep.
Most of them take it to their rooms. Most of them have them locked. And at a certain point in your child's life, it's very difficult to still be saying, I'm the parent and I get the password and I can check this at any time.
So going beyond that, you make a really good point. It's not just about having a desktop PC in a room or a laptop. The mobile devices, whether they're phones or things like iPod Touches and iPads. So then you have to drill a little deeper, as opposed to just having basic rules like that. Talk about potential consequences of these things, because that's one of the things with young people. Until you're about 25, it's hard for you to actually project into the future and think about the consequences of your actions. So this is what can happen to you. It's kind of like when you take your kids down to the downtown east side to say, if you mess around with drugs, this could happen to you, right?
But do the scare tactics really work? Because like you said, there's that invincibility of the age,
I think it's showing a number of cases where things have gone wrong and what can happen, and having good, honest. It's not a one-time discussion. It's being open and transparent and talking to kids over time and ingraining in them a certain sense of standards regarding themselves,
of how you're going to behave,
their self-esteem, and all that kind of thing.
Thanks. Now you can go have breakfast.
We didn't have these problems when we were kids.
We didn't. No, I was joking with the producer on the phone this morning, saying the boys all just went looking for Dad's magazines. Are they at the bottom drawer or between the mattress and the box spring?
No comment.
Or older brothers. All right, stay tuned. Coming up next, we're going to head to the BC1 newsroom, check in with Scott McLean, find out what's making headlines this morning. We'll be right back. It's true, though, isn't it?